professional skill and higher order ability from the students, the student has to learn. That is the answer for the question. And what you do want the students to learn, okay, what is the thing the students want to learn? So this is answered by the curriculum as well as the syllabus, how we are framing in order to address. And how can you help the students to learn? This is nothing but a teaching learning activities or the pedagogies what we are practice during the teaching learning activities. So that is the answer for that question. And how will you know what they have learned? This is very, very important. Whatever the curriculum, whatever the pedagogy we are following, the very important thing is in how we are assessing whether the students have learned or not. Okay, so that is called as the assessment what we have used. So in OBE, even though it is a learner-centered approach, the teacher also playing an important role in the OBE. So they have to make a supportive role in the OBE. And before the start of any course and before the start of any activity in the program, the teacher has to ask themselves about 3 questions. That is, the first question is, what do I want the students have to do or able to do? Okay, so at the end of the course or at the end of the program, what the students will demonstrate, that question every teacher has to ask themselves. And the next one, what will I do for them to achieve it? This is a very important role of the teacher. So even though we have the syllabus and curriculum, in what manner we are going to giving our delivery, that speaks that speak out the skills present in the students, that kindle the professional skills from the students, and they can perform well. Okay, so this is nothing but a pedagogy or teaching learning methodologies what the teacher has to follow. And how do I close the loop? This is nothing but you are expecting some skill out of the student, and in order to make out of the students skills from the students, you are doing some practices during your teaching practices. And after then, definitely you are employing some of the test. So that only you can ensure that the students can learn or not. That is called as how do you are closing the loop. So the learning outcome statements are very important. With the help of the statement, the teacher can assume that what is the student is expected to able to know at the end of the course or at the end of the program. Okay, that is the understanding of the student, what the student has to do after the course or program. And the teacher has to provide the learning activity or pedagogical initiative which will help the students to reach the outcome. Okay, our teacher role is not completed by just writing the statement of the outcome, but in order to reach the outcome to the students, we have to perform some activity that is called as a learning activity. Many kind of learning activities are there. You know how we are delivering the courses, that is a different aspect. So commonly we are making some of the practices inside the class. Okay, the innovative practices every teacher. So the teacher may work in engineering colleges or any other colleges. Definitely they can employ several learning activities. So we can have some of the learning activities like the think, pair, share activity, zigzag activity, mind map activity. Okay, so we can go like that. So by means of these activity, the teacher has to make the students to reach the outcomes. Then afterwards, the teacher has to use the explicit assessment to assess the outcome attainment, whether the students are capable of receiving all the learning activities, whether the expectations from the student has been reached or not, that can be checked with the help of the explicit assessment. So in outcome-based education, normally we are saying it is OBE, and there are several outcomes terms involved. One is called as the outcome-based curriculum. Without curriculum, we are not expecting that the students can expressing or the students can demonstrate any skill out of them. The very important is the outcome-based curriculum. It tells what the students should be able to do. Be able to do, it is the attribute that is very important. What the students can able to demonstrate, what the students can able to perform, that is called as the outcome based education. It is answering the question of what. And after the curriculum is designed, then the teacher has to again make the active role on outcome based learning and teaching. So this is nothing but how to make the students to achieve the outcome. So definitely the teacher has to participate well in that, so that the outcome statement is reached to the student. This is called as the outcome based learning and teaching. Then after that, the teacher has to perform outcome-based assessment. So this assessment is answering the question how to measure what the student has achieved. These three things are very important in the outcome-based education. One is framing the curriculum. After framing the curriculum, the next is we have to deploying the appropriate teaching and learning activities. Then only we can make the students to learn. Then after that, we have to test whether the teaching learning practices, all the pedagogical initiatives are reached to the students, so that the students are equipped with the necessary professional skills or the higher order abilities. That can be checked with the help of the outcome-based assessment. So these all the terms are coming under the outcome-based education. So outcome-based education is not simply the OBE. So it comprises of three important components into it. One is called as the outcome-based curriculum. The next is called as the outcome-based learning and teaching, and the very important, that is outcome-based assessment. So there are several outcomes are involved in the outcome-based education, starting from the program educational objectives, which is abbreviated as PEOs, and program outcomes, which is abbreviated as POs, and course outcomes, which is abbreviated as COs. All the terms you are very familiar upon. And there is a period when we have to evaluate all those things. Because when a student is joining the program is a component in the department, and the department is a sub part of any institution. Every institution has the vision and mission, and they have in what height the particular institution will be after some number of years. That is called as the vision. In order to reach the vision, everybody is doing some they set the short-term goal. That is called as the mission. In line with the vision and mission of the institution, every department has to set their own vision and mission of the departments. And the department may comprises of several programs, and every program is expecting some set of skill the students has to acquire after the completion of the program. So every program has to set their own goals. That goal is called as the program educational objective. That tells what their graduates can perform after 4 to 5 years of the graduation. That is called as the program educational objective. So in order to reach the program educational objective, okay, immediate upon the program completion, what is the skill demonstrated by the graduate? That will be answered by the program outcomes. As an engineering faculty, we know it is not our job to set a program outcome. We have to follow the program outcome, which is recommended by the NBA graduate attribute. We have 12 graduate attribute, which is recommended by the NBA. As per with the NBA graduate attribute, we have the program outcomes, and program outcomes starting from the engineering knowledge up to the lifelong learning. There are 12 attributes, and these are all the attributes every graduate has to demonstrate upon the completion of the program. And in order to reach the program outcome, definitely the student has to exhibit some set of skills after the completion of the program. But during the course of study, what are the skills the student has to demonstrate? That can be assessed with the help of the course outcome. So the program may consist of several number of courses. In every course, the teacher has to design what is the skill the student has to exhibit upon the completion of the course. That is called as the course outcome. Immediate upon the completion of the course outcomes can be evaluated. Okay, so there is a correlation between all these outcomes: course outcomes, program outcomes, and PEOs. And all these outcomes are designed in a top to bottom manner. There is no bottom to top relation. That is the top to bottom manner. All the outcomes are designed. For example, from the institute vision and mission, the department has to set their vision and mission. From the department vision and mission, the program under the department has to set their own goals, what the student has to accomplish after the completion of the program, which is nothing but a program educational objective. In order to reach the program educational objective, what is the program outcome of each program? That has to be set. In order to attain the program outcome, the curriculum has to support. So with respect to the program outcome only, if we are the faculty of autonomous institution, then the faculty can know how the curriculum is designed. We are not simply refer some other institution curriculum, some other institution course content in order to design the curriculum of our own. It is not like that. We have to refer the program educational objective, and we have to refer our program outcome. So based on the program outcome only, we have to design the that is the rough matrix of the curriculum. And you are aware of that, the program articulation matrix. We have to set whether the curriculum is supporting the attainment of the program outcome. That we have to decide in our meeting, that is a BOS meeting and all. So after that, whether the program articulation matrix is it is accepted by all the members of the BOS, then we have to start designing of the content. And the content is not also directly designed from the curriculum and all. So for each course, what we have to do is we have to write a course outcomes. If suppose we have 60 courses in our curriculum, for example, saying for all the 60 courses, every teacher has to write the course outcome of each course. Course outcome we have to write. So that is the job of the teacher. After writing the course outcome only, in each course, as per the NBA guideline, around 6 course outcomes we have to write. With respect to every course outcome, we have to do the exercise on ourselves. What kind of knowledge we are expected out of each particular outcome, we have to do some exercises. Based on that, the content will be incorporated into the syllabus. Okay, so the syllabus is the final thing. Okay, it is not the first thing in our OBE. It is a final product we are getting out of all the outcomes has been set. So starting from the institute vision mission, then department vision mission, program educational objective, program outcomes, then course outcomes, then finally the course content. This is the way how we are making the syllabus of the in particular program. And these are the abbreviations we are normally used in our course of the study. COs is the course outcomes, POs are program outcomes, PSOs, it is very important. We have to know what is the PSOs, that is the program specific outcomes. NBA is recommending 12 graduate attributes. In line with the 12 graduate attributes, we have the program outcomes. But they are giving the guideline is that if possible, each program can define their own program specific outcomes. Apart from the 12 skills, what is given by the NBA, if suppose we want our graduates to express some of the skills out of the specialization of the program, then we can define the program specific outcomes. The program specific outcomes can be defined with respect to the facility available in the program or the department, or with respect to the faculty competency. With respect to that, we can design the program specific outcomes. Around 2 to 4 program specific outcomes we can define with respect to the facility and competency of the people available in the program. On program education objectives are PEOs and graduate attributes are GAs. These are the abbreviations normally used in the outcome-based education. And this is the definition of all the outcomes. And you know what is program outcomes, PEOs? They represent the knowledge, skills, and attitudes the students should have at the end of 4-year engineering program. They are expected skill at the end of the 4-year degree program. And they are assessed after the 4 years of the program. And course outcomes, they are the resultant knowledge skills the students has to acquire at the end of each course. So the course teacher is responsible to assess the course outcome attainment of each student at the completion of the course. And program educational objectives, PEOs, and PEOs are the broader statement which describes the career and professional accomplishment in 4 to 5 years of graduation. What the particular graduate has to express in order to achieve the PEOs. Okay. And in our Indian system, we are not having the explicit method to assess the PEOs, but it is also very important whether our PEOs has been achieved or not. And program specific outcomes, this is also PSOs. These are the statements that describe the graduates of the specific engineering program should be able to do. This is also evaluated or assessed at the end of the degree program, like a PO assessment. And what are the process we have to do to adopt the OBE framework? There is no second thought to avoid OBE. Definitely all the educational institution, okay, even in school also they are adopting the outcome-based education. OBE, we have to definitely adopt OBE. For that, we have to follow some process. The process are defined in various stages. In stage 1, we have to formulate POs and POs. Okay, the POs and POs tell the clarity of the focus. In what way we have to make our students. what we are expecting out of the students at the end of the program. That is nothing but a POs and POs. So we have to formulate PO and PO first in order to adopt the OBE. After then, we have to mapping the outcomes through curriculum. Okay. So if you are working in the NBA accredited institution, definitely you came across a word that is called as the program articulation matrix. So before the design of the curriculum, definitely we are mapping whether our curriculum is supporting the achievement, attainment of all the POs and all that can be checked with the help of the program articulation matrix. So we have to map our program through the curriculum. If the curriculum is not supporting the attainment of any particular PO, what we have to do is we have to revise the curriculum. There is no other choices there. Definitely we have to revise the curriculum. We have to ensure that our curriculum is supporting to attain all the outcomes of our program. Okay, that all the skills what we are expecting out of the student that can be achieved with the help of the curriculum. Okay, then after designing the curriculum, then we have to design, okay, what are the teaching learning activities we can support to the students in order to deliver the content. So all the teaching learning activities should be aligned with the course content. There should be no contradictory between what is the skill we are expecting out of the student and our teaching learning activities. Suppose we want to expect the student has to express the higher order thinking skills, in the sense, simply the lecture won't help. The appropriate teaching learning activities, definitely we have to support in order to achieve the higher order learning ability of the student. So we have to make teaching learning activities that should be aligned with the expectations. That is very important. That is called as the teaching pedagogy. Then finally, the fourth stage, that is very, very important, whatever the curriculum we have, whatever the pedagogical initiative we are following, in order to make the students to express the skills or the technical skills, we have to assess whether the technical skills what we are expecting has been expressed by the students or attained by the students or not. That is called as the assessing the attainment of outcomes. So again, here we have the two kind of outcome. We can check whether the program outcome is attained or not. Similarly, we can check whether the course outcome is attained or not. Okay, so course outcome attainment is that is evaluated by the teacher, and the program outcome attainment is evaluated as a course, that is the program level. Definitely that will be help in order to refine our curriculum, even refine our teaching learning activities, even that will be helpful to refine our assessment criteria all. Okay. So the reasons for adopting OBE, why we are going for adopting OBEs, whether it is very much essential? Yes, it is very much essential because it helps our institution to remain competitive at global level. Not only the institution, even our graduates are remain competitive at global level. They can go for their higher education, they can go for their job across the global if they are competitive enough. For that, they have to study in OBE framework. And the one more important criteria is, and you know, our India is a permanent signatory member of the Washington Accord since 2014. In order to remain the permanent signatory member of the Washington Accord, definitely the engineering institution across the India follow the OBE. The Washington Accord is the international agreement across the engineering accredited body. In our India, you know, the engineering accredited body is a NBA. In US, you know, the ABBET is a engineering accredited body. So the Washington Accord is the international initiative agreement between the engineering accredited bodies. So our India is a permanent signatory member of the Washington Accord since 2014. So definitely we have to follow OBE. So to get NBA accreditation also, we have to follow the OBE. Without OBE, no accreditation in engineering institution. And the OBE framework adopt an educational framework that helps in building learners' competency and make the students lifelong learn. As I already suggested that there are graduate attributes which is recommended by the NBA, starting from the engineering knowledge, basic engineering knowledge, up to the lifelong learning. There are several attributes a graduate has to acquire. So with the help of the OBE framework, the students are not students. We have to say the word learner, that is appropriate word. The learner competency we can build, as well as we can make the learner to lifelong learn. And we can make the learner equipped with the required knowledge and skills. That is the reason why we have to adopt the OBE framework. Are we ready for the OBE? For all the institution of the India is ready for OBE? Still, there are some institutions, they are not aware of what is outcome-based education because of our present examination system. Because our present examination system only concentrating the memorization. The memorization occupies a dominant place in our present examination system. Whether we can relieve the complete examination system? No, we cannot relieve the complete examination system. Without the examination, we cannot assess the student. Anyhow, we have to assess the student. So what we have to do, so instead of recalling the factual knowledge by the examination, we have to improve our examination system. That is, we have to improve our assessment process that must test the higher order ability. Higher order ability is nothing but a professional skill. Definitely, we have to make our examination system that should test the higher order ability among the students. So examination system is nothing but not only the written examination, which is conducted a normal way, like test inside the class, like test in the university examination. It is not like that. It is not a time-bounded examination. Examination is an examination. It may be conducted in any way. You can give the project work to the student. That is also the kind of the examination, because you are testing the some set of skills out of the project work. You can conduct an open book examination. That is also the kind of the test, because you are assess whether some set of the skills can be acquired by the students or not. You can conduct the term paper. Okay, likewise, there are several kind of examinations are there. So instead of making the conventional examination, so because the main focus in the conventional examination is they are inducing the students to recollect the factual knowledge, or whatever they are learning, they are reproducing as it is without knowing why they are studying all the things and all. So that we have to eliminate. For that, we have to improve our assessment process. So the questions in the examination. So without questions, we cannot conduct the examination. So examination, again, I am saying that it is not like a conventional test and the conventional exams that is written in the semester as well as the board. It is not like that. Examination, it may be any. Without examination, we cannot assess the learning from the student, and we cannot giving the award. We cannot award the grades to the students. So definitely, we have to conduct the examination. But the concern here is we have to make the question which is raised in the examination that should define the kind of learning which will be activated by the student. That should definitely assess the learning by the student. In that way, we have to raise the questions. The question paper should be prepared so that it go beyond the memory recall. Okay, so that is the concerns of the questions in the examination. Why we have to ask the question? Definitely we have to ask the question. Okay, so not at the end of the course, even during teaching also, every teacher has the habit of asking the question. Okay, the question may be in the form of test, quizzes, and examination. So it is not only test whether the student, or not only test the student has learned or the learner has learned, it also indicate the guidance to the learner is that what they have to learn. Okay, so for that also we are conducting, we are asking the question. Okay, so that is the goal of the questioning. The goal of questioning is not only test whether the student has learned or not, it is also test whether the students acquire some knowledge, or it guide the students what the student has to learn. Okay, so very precisely, the question should be used to teach the students rather to just test the students. And normally the teachers are spend so much amount of time in order to test the students during their class hours. They are spent nearly, as per the survey, they are spent nearly 90% of their instructional time for testing these students. And most of the questions what the students, what the teachers ask inside the classrooms are just testing the memory of the students. They have to recollect and recall the information which what they have received during the short term. So they have to recollect the information and immediately they have to answer to the teacher question. That was the teacher question asked in the classroom. That has to be changed. Higher order questions we have to ask. What is the higher order and what are the challenges in the higher order ability? So there are so much amount of challenges in the higher order ability. The very important challenge is the limitation of the educational experience. That is the many number of faculties are having the limited experience in the education. So that is also the one thing we are not incorporating higher order ability in our teaching learning as well as the curriculum. And most of the coursework in our program are oriented towards teaching the technical knowledge and skills typically happen in the classroom as well as the laboratory setting. And the higher order abilities are very difficult to assess through our conventional educational system and conventional educational experience. And we have to incorporate some of the methodology in order to test the higher order ability. So how we can address, how we can assess the higher order ability? For that, we have to make use of the revised Bloom's taxonomy. And the Bloom's taxonomy is a platform for all the educator, and it is the popular framework which structure the assessment because it characterizes the complexity and higher order ability. Okay, so with the help of the Bloom's taxonomy, the knowledge levels are characterized in a hierarchical manner. Okay, so the complexity we can go from level to level, so that with the help of this we can test the higher order ability. And not only assessing, the Bloom's taxonomy helping the assessment, the Bloom's taxonomy framework helps for three important things. With the help of the Bloom's taxonomy framework, we can design the curriculum, we can make use of our teaching methodology, and we can design the appropriate exam question. These are the three actions we can do with the help of the Bloom's taxonomy framework. So let us see what is Bloom's taxonomy. And in Bloom's taxonomy, there are different domains of learning, but our concern is the cognitive domain. There are actually three domains are there. One is called as the cognitive domain, which tests the knowledge skills acquired by the student. The next domain is called as the affective domain, which tests the attribute, that is the feeling and emotions, which is caused by the students upon learning. And the third domain is called as the psychomotor domain, which is demonstrating the physical skills of the students. But as a technical people, we are very much concerned about the cognitive domain of the learning, okay, which is nothing but the knowledge skills. The cognitive domain involves the knowledge and the development of the intellectual skills, what they have learned with the help of the intelligence, what they can able to do. That is called as the knowledge skills or the intellectual skills. So cognitive domain we are concentrating. There are 6 knowledge levels in the cognitive domain. And there are 2 versions of the Bloom's taxonomy, the earlier versions and the new domain. The earlier versions, they are 6 levels of the knowledge level. Okay, and they are given in the form of the noun, and the newer revised Bloom's taxonomy, the knowledge levels are given in the form of verb. Okay, so starting from the lower to higher is knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. Okay, the lowest level of the knowledge is the remembering, and the next higher level, which is called as the L1 level, the level 1, L1, it is normally called as L1 level. Okay, the next level is called as the understanding, which is called as the L2 level, and third level is called as applying, L3 level, and analyzing, L4 level, and evaluating, L5 level, and creating, it is the topmost knowledge skill, it is the L6 level. Okay, so starting from bottom to top, we have the hierarchical knowledge level in the revised Bloom's taxonomy. So with the help of this revised Bloom's taxonomy, we can assess the lower order learning ability as well as the higher order learning ability from the student. Remember and understand, these are called as the lower order learning ability. Starting from applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating are called as the higher order learning ability. Even in some of the books, you may notice that after some questions, we have the hint like it is the lot, that is the lower order thinking. And sometimes we have the quote like heart, it is a higher order thinking, because what level of answering is expected from the question, based on that we have the category lower order thinking and higher order thinking. Okay, so this is the hierarchical division of the knowledge level with respect to the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Let us see what is the knowledge or what is the skill expected, or what the student has to demonstrate on each knowledge skill, starting from the remember. Okay, so in remember, the student has to express recall of information, fact definition, technical terms, classifications, categories, and criteria. They have the ability to recall methodologies and procedure, abstractions, principles, and theories in the field of what they have learned. And they have to remember about the knowledge of dates, events, and places. These are the skills expected out of the remember knowledge level. Okay, for example, we can have if suppose we teach about some lessons to the students, and we refer the content from some book. In book, there are so many number of derivations are there. If we are asking the students to write the definition 1 or write the derivation 1, that is also the remember level skill. The student has to remember what the derivation in the book on the page number so and so, and they have to express, okay, this is the derivation of. Without applying their own knowledge, they just refer or they just recollect the information from the book and they are writing the answer. That is called as a remember level skills expected from the students. And parts of any model. Suppose you are a teacher, you are demonstrating about the artificial neural network, and that there are different parts in the network. If suppose you are asking the students to point any particular part in the network structure, then that is called as the remember level ability. The student has to recollect what is the parts in the particular network structure, and they have to name about it. So this is also some kind of the knowledge expected out of the remember level. So in order to ask the question in remember level, we can make use of some action verbs. And here I'm listing some of the action verbs which will be used to ask the remember level question. They are list, define, describe, state, recite, recall, identify, show, label, tabulate, quote, name, who, when, where, and many more. So these are some of the action verbs. This is suggested by the Bloom's taxonomy. And the action verbs are not restricted with this list. You can have any action verbs, but they should demonstrate the skill of remembering only. Okay, the meaning should not be changed. Likewise, we can make use of any action verbs without deviating the expected out of the remember knowledge levels. And these are some of the sample questions here I'm giving for remember level. State Ohm's law, the student have learned about Ohm's law, they are just reproducing. Without knowing what is Ohm's law, why Ohm's law, where we can where they can apply Ohm's law, okay, they can able to write what is Ohm's law. Okay, that is expected out of the remember level knowledge level. Okay, they recite what they have learned from the book of the electrical, and they can reproduce what is Ohm's law. And list the physical and chemical properties of silicon. List out. Okay, they are listing without knowing why these properties for the silicon. They are just list out. List the components of analog to digital converter. They can able to list. So this is a remember level knowledge. Just remembering from the teacher's delivery, they can able to answer. List the arithmetic operations in increasing order of the precedent. They can able to answer. Without knowing what is the job of each arithmetic operator, they can able to answer what are all the arithmetic operator with respect to the precedence. The precedent tells in which order the arithmetic operator can be evaluated. And define the term, sensible heat, latent heat, all the term they can able to demonstrate. List the assembler directive, listing. Write the truth table and symbol of AND, OR, NOT, and XNOR gates. List the different storage specifiers in the language C. What is pointer on pointer? What is self-referential structure? What? List, define, state. So these are the action verbs which is used to test the remembering skill of the student. Okay, without knowing why they are learning, just by remembering the term, they can be able to answer. This is called as the remember level questions. The next knowledge level. The next in the hierarchy is called as the understand. Okay, the skills expected from the student is that they have to understand the information, they have to grasp the meaning of the content, and they have to translate the knowledge into new context. They have to interpret the fact, what they have learned out of it, and they have to compare and contrast, and they can be able to order, group, infer the causes from the content. These are the skills the student has to demonstrate upon the understand knowledge. Okay, so some example we can have for the understand. For example, if you are the researcher, we are writing the literature survey, for example, we are assuming that after the introduction, all the researcher, we are in the habit of writing the literature survey. In the literature survey, what we are doing, we are referring some of the papers, n number of papers we are referring. In each paper, what is the proposal of the authors we are studying? Okay, they are giving their description, but we understand something and we are reproducing the proposal in our own words. That is expected out of the literature survey. That is the understand skill of the learner. Okay, so the writing literature survey is a very good example of the demonstrating the understand skill. And here also, we can ask this question in the understand level with the help of some of the action verbs. They are describe, explain, paraphrase, restate, associate, contrast, summarize, differentiate, interpret, and discuss. Okay, so these are the action verbs we can use. As I already said in the remember level questions, here also the action verbs are not limited with this list. You can expand this action verbs, but the meaning, what the skills you are expecting out of the students from the understand level should not be changed. Okay, so the skill again expected from the learner is they have to understand the information, because writing literature survey, we have to understand the things from the different kind of paper, and we grasp the meaning and translate the knowledge into new context. That is, we are referring all the things, we are translating what we learned into our own words. We are telling that this is the thing they have proposed in the so and so paper. Likewise, we have written the literature survey. So translate the knowledge into the new context. That is very important. This is also the skill expected out of the understand. And we have to interpret the fact. So why we are doing like that? Why they are doing like that? So some kind of interpretation also we can do in a understand level. Okay, so these are the action verbs. So here I'm listing some of the sample question. Okay, how we can ask the questions in the understand level. So for example, it is a common question. The question number 1, discuss the effect of Make in India initiative on the Indian manufacturing industry. We know what is Make in India initiative. Suppose you are asking the question to the student as, what is Make in India initiative? That is a remember level question. What is Make in India initiative is the remember level question. That is, the student has to recollect why, what is this Make in India initiative, and they can answer. But here the question is, discuss the effect of Make in India initiative on the Indian manufacturing industry. The student has to understand what is Make in India initiative, how this is impacted in the manufacturing industry. They have to think on their own and they have to reproduce in their words. This is called as, this is expected at the understand level knowledge. And explain the syntax for loop. This is also an example of understand level question. Okay, so what is the syntax of the for loop? That is a remember level question. Because the learner has to reproduce the syntax as it is. They are not doing anything on their own in a syntax. They are just reproducing, recollecting information and remembering the particular. All the things are coming under the remember level. Here, the understand is explain the syntax, how the for loop is working. They have to explain on their own. So this is the understand level question. What is the differentiate between the header file with in Angular braces and double quotes? So they have to demonstrate. Okay, what is the difference? They should know why. What is the impact of including the header file in Angular braces and double quotes, and they have to demonstrate on their own for this answer. What is the difference between actual and formal parameter? So this is also the understand level question. What is actual parameter? What is formal parameter? It is the remember level question. But what is the actual difference between the formal and actual parameter is the understand level question. And explain the different ways of passing parameter to the function. So what are the ways of passing the parameter is called as the remember, but explain the different ways of passing the parameter to the function is called as the understand. That is a minute difference between the question asked in remember level and understand level. And we have to be able to justify why this question is coming under the understand level. Okay, it is our duty, we have to justify. And how the array is differentiated from the linked list. So this is also the understand level question. What is the array? What is the linked list? It's a remember level question. The students can able to answer without knowing how the linked list are organizing the data, how array is organizing the data. But how the array is different from linked list, they should know how the data is organized in array as well as the linked list. Then only they can able to answer how they are differentiated from one to another. And one example question of giving the code. How many values of the variable num? Here, the variable num is used in this code fragment. How many values of variable num must be used to completely test all branches of the following code fragment? Just we have to trace the code and we have to count how many places the num variable is used in order to complete the test. So this is also the understand. So why it is understand in the sense, we should know how this branching is working. Without knowing this principle, we cannot able to answer how this variable num is working. Okay, so these are some of the example questions we can ask in the understand level, and we should able to justify how this question is differentiated from the questions of the remember level. In remember level, just the factual knowledge, what we have recollected from our memory can be answered. But here we have to think of all the things and we have to answer on our own words. There is not a recollecting. We have to do a recollecting because it is a hierarchical knowledge level. Without remembering, we cannot do understanding, answering, but somewhat next higher. We have to think and we have to write the content on our own. Okay, the next hierarchical level knowledge is called as a apply. And from apply onwards, there is a higher order thinking ability is started. And again, in one paper, there is a contradiction is that whether the apply belongs to the lower order or higher order. But according to many researchers, the apply is also belongs to the higher order thinking ability. And the skills expected from the learner is the learner has to use methods, concepts, laws, and theories in new situation, because they have learned some of the things in their classroom settings and laboratory setting. They used to do some specific set. How the particular learning can be applied in the new scenario, that is the skill expected out of the apply knowledge level. They have to expected to solve problems using required knowledge or skills. And it is expecting the learner has to demonstrate correct usage of the method or procedure, because there are several methods or procedure may be there in order to bring the solution of the problem. But the learner has to demonstrate in what way they have to correctly use the method or procedure to acquire the solution. And very similar to the remember knowledge level and understand knowledge level, in apply knowledge level also, we can make use of some of the action verbs in order to set the questions. They are calculate, predict, apply, solve, illustrate, use, demonstrate, determine, model, experiment, show, examine, and modify. And these are the action verbs, not limited with this list. As I already said, you can expand the list without change the meaning of the skills to be demonstrated. So that is expected out of every particular knowledge level. And these are some of the sample apply level questions. So as I belongs to computer science discipline, most of my example questions are belongs to the computer science courses. Kindly bear with me. And the two questions here I said how it is demonstrating the apply knowledge level. The first question, the single array has to be used to implement two stack. And everyone, definitely you are knowing about what is stack and array. Array is the collection of data, similar data. And stack, the stack is nothing but a structure which keep on the data, but with the restricted in the insertion as well as the deletion. In every structure, we can do insertion and deletion, and there is the restriction on how we are doing insertion and deletion in stack. It follows the principles of last in, first out. It may be used in the many application. That is, while we are arranging the cards in the box, the last card which is arranged, which will be taken first. That is the best example of a stack. Likewise, we can have many practical examples of the stack. But here the concern is we have to use a single array to implement the two stack, and every stack is controlled by the top pointer. And that for two stack, we have top pointer, top one and top two. And the condition here is top one should be less than top two. So this is the condition is given. Okay. So what is expected out of this is, so we have to tell at what condition the stack is full if the space is to be used efficiently. So what knowledge the student has to apply here is, the student has to apply the knowledge of how the stack is working. Okay. They know what is stack. What is stack is remember level. How the stack is working is understand level. But here they have to employ the stack principles in a single array, so that they have to give the condition when the stack will be full in order to satisfy the condition of top one less than top two. So this is expected. And one more apply level question is that, and if suppose, in that in processor, we are submitting several processes are there, and the processor using the scheduling algorithm in order to execute the process. There are several scheduling algorithm is there. Okay. But we have to apply the proper scheduling algorithm so that the processor has to execute all the processor without any delay. At the same time, the processor has to be busy all the time. It should not be ideal. Likewise, we have to select a scheduling algorithm. So here, the three processes are given. That is the process 0, 1, and 2. whose arrival and burst time is also given. Arrival and burst time. Burst time is nothing but how long it takes to complete the action is called as the burst time. Okay. So we have to apply the preemptive shortest job. They know what is preemptive shortest job, how it is working, but here the new scenario is given. Okay. The new scenario is given 3 processes and arrival and burst time. This is a new scenario. They have to apply the learned knowledge, the preemptive shortest job first scheduling algorithm to this scenario. And after the application of this knowledge, they have to calculate some particular output. So here the output expected is the average waiting time of all the 3 processes. Okay. So this is the output they have to demonstrate out the after the application of the algorithm. So this is some of the apply level questions. The next knowledge level in the hierarchy is the analyze. So here the learner are asked to demonstrate, they have to break down the complex problem into parts. So wherever we have to ask the problem to solve the problem from top to bottom, there we can apply the analyze knowledge level. The analyze knowledge level, solving the problem from top to bottom. It identifies the relationship and interaction between the different parts of complex problem. Okay. So because the complex problem is break down into many number of parts, this analyze level, it identifies the relationship between the different parts of the complex problem and integrate together in order to provide the solution. And the student has to identify the missing information, redundant information, and contradictory information from the problem given in order to provide the solution. Like in understand, apply, and remember, here also we can make use of some of the action verbs in order to set the questions. They are classify, outline, break down, categorize, analyze, diagram, illustrate, infer, and select. Okay, so the action verbs can be extended without changing the skill demonstrated by the learner. And these are some of the sample analyze level question. Okay, the analyze level question expecting some of the knowledge from the lower hierarchy, that is the remembering, understanding, and apply. So without employing all these below knowledge level, we cannot straight away go into analyze level questions. So here I'm giving 2 questions. The first question is, the Carling wants to store the details of students studying in first year and later on wishes to retrieve the information about the students who score the highest mark in each subject. Specify the scenario where the data can be organized as a single 2D array or as a multiple 1D array. So they are clearly saying how the information has to be organized. Okay, but they are asking the question is that we have to specify the scenario. Okay, that is what happened. It is nothing but what happened when the data is organized in 2D array or multiple 1D array. Okay, so we have to broadly look into the problem. The main thing is we have to do a data organization. That is, the students' first year data has to be organized. Okay, if it is organized in a single 2D, what will be happen? If it is organized in the multiple 1D array, what will be happened? Okay, we have to apply. Okay, we have to apply the things. So without applying, we cannot analyze which particular is better. Okay, we have to apply. The given scenario is applied into these 2. And finally, we have to bringing the conclusion whether the single 2D array is best or multiple 1D array is best. So we have to draw the conclusion out of the application. That is called as the skills demonstrated in the analyze level. The analyze level not only simply applying the things to solve the problem. Okay, it is also expecting that what is the conclusion we are deriving out of the application. That is also the expected from the analyze level question. So very clearly, the last statement in the first question, it is expecting the conclusion derived out of the application. And the second question is, the Dave is working on a campus management software, but is unable to identify the maximum number of students per course. He decided to implement the same using arrays, but discovered that that is a memory wastage due to over provisioning. Which method of memory storage should be used by Dave? So here also we are giving the condition is that we have to maintaining the student detail for campus management. Okay, but for course to course, the student count may be differ. We cannot simply declaring the static array so that we can hold many number of students as possible. If suppose this is the case, okay, whenever the course has less number of students, there is a memory wastage. So we have to identify the best particular structure so that we can reduce the memory wastage, and they have to effectively store the student information in a memory. Likewise, we have to give the conclusion. Okay. So we have to apply some of the things. There are several structures are there in order to organize this kind of data. We have to apply all the things, and finally we have to conclude this is the suitable. Okay. This is suitable in order to do so and so. Okay. We have to make the conclusion. So that is expected out of the analyze level. Okay. The next level in the hierarchy is called as the evaluate level. The skills demonstrated by the students are they have to compare and discriminate between ideas. Okay. All the things are there. Okay. All the things are there. They have to compare and discriminate between the ideas. They have to assess the value of the theory. Already the theory is there. Why this theory? Okay, what is the value behind the theory? All the things the students have the ability of assessing it, and they have to make choices based on the recent argument. Okay, if suppose there are the group discussions are there, okay, for the same topic, there is a pros, there is a cons are there, but the student has the ability to make choice which is the correct one out of the argument. Such kind of skills the student has to demonstrate out of the evaluate, and the student has to use of different criteria to do the evaluation and come to the decision. Here also we have to finally come to the conclusion or decision. That is a discrete decision, definite decision. Okay. In analysis, the difference between analyze and evaluate is in analyze, we are deriving the conclusion by applying something. But here with the definite criteria, we are leading to the decision. This is the difference between analyze and evaluate. In analyze, we are applying this thing and drawing conclusion. By applying what has happened, that is the conclusion we are deriving. But here we are applying all the things, and finally we come to the finite decision. That is the evaluate. Okay. So some of the action verbs used to frame the evaluate level questions are assess, decide, choose, rank, grade, test, measure, defend, recommend, convince, select, judge, support, conclude, argue, justify, compare, summarize, and evaluate. So these are the action verbs used to frame the questions in the evaluate level. Okay. The next skill demonstrated is called a C in the hierarchy is create. In create, the learners are expected to use old ideas to create new ones. Completely, they have to bring the new solutions to the problem they are given off. And they have to combine the parts to make the whole and relate the knowledge from several areas in order to bring the solution. They have to predict and draw conclusion. Okay. The prediction is also coming under the create. Some of the action verbs used in the create level questions are design, formulate, build, invent, create, compose, generate, derive, modify, develop, and integrate. Okay. And very importantly, we have to note one point. Evaluate and the create level questions are very difficult in topic level, and they have to ask from the course level. Suppose we have the course X in the sense, the course X may have several topics. Okay. From the topic, we can ask the questions in even, remember, analyze, apply, and understand. But with the help of the single topic, we cannot ask the question in the evaluate and create. So this is the course focus. And we are not asking the questions with the time-bounded answering. The student has to, given the open choice, they can take their own time in order to bring the solutions for the evaluate and the create level question. So this kind of question may be asked in the projects. Or you can assign some of the case studies to the students so they can demonstrate the evaluate level knowledge and the create level knowledge to the teacher. So we have to give some neat problems or the complex problem for the evaluate and create level. So in the previous knowledge levels, like remember, understand, apply, and analyze, I have given some of the sample question, how the questions are actually demonstrating the respective knowledge level. Okay. But in case of the evaluate and create level, I'm not giving the question, sample question, because these cannot be taken from the single topic level. And this is with respect to the course level. And also they are used to solve the real life complex problem. You know what is complex problem? The complex problem, it is not a problem which is asked from the book itself. Okay. In complex problem, some of the things are abstract. There is no clear-cut information about how we can bringing the solution. Some of the things are abstract, and we have to apply some of the theory and the prior knowledge in order to clearly bring the shape of the question, then only we start the solution of the question. That is very important. So the complex problem is also called as a need problems. So they can be asked in the evaluate and create level. These are some of the need problems. For example, in biotech industry, which needs automation for filling its product into 20-liter bottles, they expected to design a system, automation system, to meter the flow into the bottle so that each bottle has 20 liter of the liquid. There will be more than one filling station, and the system has to monitor all the filling stations as well as keep count of the total production on a daily basis. Okay, so only they are giving the condition is that they have to fill their biotech industry product into the 20-liter bottle. How many bottle? They are not giving. Okay, each bottle capacity is 20 liter. Okay, what is the production in the industry? That is also not given. But we have to design the automation system, okay, so that facilitate to fill the 20-liter capacity bottle of the product from the industry. Okay, as well as we have to keep the count of the total production on the daily basis. We should not waste the material. All the things we have to adhere. Okay, so these are the some of the abstraction present in the question, and we have to transform this question into the complete explanation. Then we have to start the solution. In order to bring the solution, we have to use the knowledge, we have to think of, we have to apply some of the ideas, we have to derive some conclusion. If not, we have to make another kind of solution. Whatever that, we have to apply all the kind of knowledge in order to bring the solution of the single question. So this is coming under the create and evaluate level. And one more question in this particular complex engineering is, design a system to assess the driver by using cameras to detect landmarkers and pedestrians while the vehicle is in motion. Okay, so only the condition is giving is that we have to assist the driver. We have to assist the driver while the vehicle is in motion. We can make use of the cameras to detect so on. So, okay, so how many cameras we are going to use, where we are going to fix the camera, what are the things we have to observe? If we are observing that thing, what is the reaction we have to do? Nothing is given in this problem. Everything is abstract. Okay, so the need problems or complex problems are abstract. Such kind of problems to be solved with the skills demonstrated by the create and knowledge level. For a single question, in all knowledge level, we can ask the question. For example, if you are telling the story to the learner, after the completion of the story, you can ask the question like, what can you remember about the story? Okay, so this is called the remembering skill testing. And you can ask the learner to summarize the story in your own words. This is demonstrating, this is the this particular question expecting the demonstration skill of the learner, okay, which leads to the understanding knowledge level. And you can ask the question, suggest how the main lessons in the story could help other young people. That is, what is the moral you have learned, how you are applying this moral to some another scenario. This is called as the applying. Okay. And in analyzing, you can ask the question to the learner is that, why did the different characters in the story behave the way that they did? So this is analyzing. They are analyzing the characters. So you, in order to understand the question, you just think of the very, very basic story that is you learned from your childhood. That is the, what the story, the Lion and Mouse we can take. So everybody is familiar about that particular story. Okay, so from the story, what you are remembering, summarize the story on your own words, that is understand level. Suggest how the main lesson in the story, what is the moral you learned out of the story, that is applying, so that that moral can be employed in another new scenario. Why did the different characters in the story behave like that? Why the lion is behaving like that? Why the mouse is behaving like that? Likewise, we can ask the question. This is analyzing. You are analyzing the characters of the story and evaluate the strength of the main character decision to leave. Okay, so you have to evaluate. You have to judge. What is the strength of the main character decision to leave, and rewrite the ending of the story to show the different outcome. This is called as a create. Okay, the conclusion you have to modify. You have to bring the story into the new scenario, and you have to completely make the story into a new story. That is called as a create. So even in a single topic, even in a single topic, even in a single lesson, even from the single course, we can ask the question in all the knowledge level. We can ask the question in all the knowledge level. But the thing is, the lesson should be a complete one. It should not depend on one another. Here, I'm taking the example of a story. Why means the lion and mouse. The story is complete. It is a complete thing. So in order to understand the story, you need not refer any other story. Okay, this is a complete thing. If you have the content of one complete, then you can ask all the 6 knowledge level question from the same content. So that I'm having the example of that lion and the mouse. Okay, because in previous we have note one thing, the create and evaluate level question cannot be taken from the topic level. It can be taken from only the course level. Okay, so here the course in the sense that one complete set without dependent on the content from another, it is independent. The course is independent. For example, the course data structure, the course programming C. This is not depending the content from the Java like that. Okay, if your course content are independent, then from that independent content, you can ask all the 6 level questions on your own. So this is one example how you can make use of the single lesson, which is nothing but the complete content. Here, the complete content is called as a story, what we have taken, lion and the mouse. The complete content, you can ask all the 6 knowledge level questions. That I want to try to say. So now we are going to see how we can ask the different level of question from the Bloom's taxonomy level. So before that, you assume that here we take the complete content. I am saying the complete content. Here you assume that the complete content, what we are taking is branching and looping statement. And every one of you is aware of the programming languages. Definitely in programming languages, you think of any language. That is your choice. You can think of your own languages. In all the languages, there is a place of branching and looping statement. Without branching and looping statement, definitely we cannot write a code. Okay, at any point of time, we have to take a decision. At any point of time, we have to redo the things. Okay, again and again, we have to do the things. Definitely without branching and looping statement, we cannot write the code fragment of any particular languages. So I'm taking the familiar of branching and looping statement. This is the complete content. You have to assume that this is a complete content like lion and mouse story. Here with the complete content, we can ask the question in all the 6 levels. So let us take how we can ask the question in the remember level question. By asking the question, what kind of skills you are kindling from the learner, that is also given in the bracket. For example, in remember level question, here I'm taking the example of C branching and looping statement. In C branching, the branching statements, simple if statement, if else statement, later if statement, even go to statement, unconditionally branching the control, go to statement. These are some of the branching statement available in C. Like in looping statement, while, do while. Okay, the do while is nothing but repeat until structure in many of the programming languages. In C, it is do while. And for, the for is a familiar looping statement in all the programming languages. So these are the looping statements available in C. So this is a complete content you assume. So from this complete content, I can make ask all the 6 knowledge level questions. In remember level question, I'm asking list out different branching statement. Even the learner are not aware of how the branching statement is working. Okay, what is the difference between if branching and if else branching? They can be able to answer without knowing the proper description about all the things, just remembering, just recollecting the things what they have observed from the classroom, they can be able to answer the question. This is called as the remembering the fact. And if suppose I'm asking the question of what is the total number of the looping statement in C, without knowing, okay, what is while, what is do while, and what is for, the students can be able to answer how many number of looping statement in C by remembering the fact. This is called as the remembering fact skill. And understand level question. Again, in the same content of branching and looping, I can ask the learner to explain how the if statement is executed. Okay, so they should know what is if statement. They have to remember what is if statement, and they have to give the description on his own language. So this is the understand level. Okay, so the demonstrating, grasp the content and demonstrating and reproducing the content on his own. This is called as the skill expected out of the understand knowledge level. And one more question here I'm giving that the difference between while and do while. I'm just comparing how the while and do while is working. Okay, without knowing how the while and do while is working, I cannot able to answer how it is differentiated. Okay, so this is also the knowledge expected in the understand level. Okay, this is called as a comparing. The action here is comparing. So the next question is the apply level question. Okay, so in apply level question, I'm asking, write a program to check the given number is a multiple of 2. Write a program to check the given number is multiple of 2. What I have taught to the student? I taught to the student about branching and looping statement in C. That's all. Okay. But here I'm asking the question, write a program to check the given number is multiple of 2. They know what is multiple of 2. They are using the prior knowledge. They know what is multiple of 2. Okay. The multiple of 2, it is ended with the digit by 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. All the multiple of 2 is ended by the digit like that. Okay. So they learned this from their childhood days. They use their prior knowledge to solve problem and identify the connection and relationship and how they apply in new situation. So this is the skill demonstrated by the learner in order to provide the solution of write a program to check the given number is multiple of 2. Prior knowledge is nothing but what is multiple of 2. Okay, and identify the connection. How this prior knowledge is applied in order to design the program of write a program to check the given number is multiple of 2. Okay, they have to identify the connection and relationship in order to bring the solution. Did you understand? So this is the apply level question. An analyze level question. Okay, so there are different skills demonstrated by the student, but very important is they have to determine how the parts relate to one another, because I already said that in analyze level question, the questions or any problem, it is solved from top to bottom. We have to break the complex into a particular smaller one. For example, I'm asking you in my screen where the cancel button is there. How do you answer it? In my screen where the cancel button is there, how do you answer it? You are breaking my screen into different parts, and each part you are checking whether the cancel button is present or there. Okay, so by doing so only you can able to answer the cancel button is present in the top right corner of the screen. Likewise, you are answering. Okay, how do you are answering? You are dividing the entire screen into different parts. The whole part is divided into a simpler one. Okay, then you are identifying how the parts are related. Okay, and how you making the inferences, and you have to find the evidence in order to support your generalization. Okay, so here I'm asking the question like trace the code and state what problem the code is solving. Okay, I can ask the question like that. I can give some code fragment to the student comprising of if and for statement. What the student has to do, they have to understand and they have to apply how the if is working, how the for is working, how the statements are related to one another from statement 1 where the jumping is going, when from statement n where the jump is going. Based on that, they have to analyze the relationship between the statements. Then only they can able to know what the problem the particular code fragment is solving. That is called as the analyze level question. And evaluate level question. And evaluate level is, they are different skills to be expected to demonstrate. But here the question is asked in order to demonstrate the presenting and defending opinions by making judgments about information, the validity of ideas or quality of work based on a set of criteria. For example, if I'm asking the question to the learner is that I'm giving the code fragment and I'm asking the below code is proposed as a solution of prime number generator. Check whether the code produces the correct output. If suppose it is not a correct output, you do a correction so that it will bring the correct solution for the question. If I ask the question like that, then it is called as the evaluate level question. Evaluate level normally solve the problem from bottom to top. Okay, so it makes the simpler thing. First of all, the simpler things are grouped into and they are bring the solution of the overall problem. So that is the difference between the analyze and evaluate. The analyze solve the problem from bottom to top. Here in evaluate, the so problems are solved from. So they in the analyze level, the problems are solved from top to bottom. In evaluate level, the problems are solved from bottom to top. They are integrating some of the
simpler thing into the complex and providing the solution. Okay. And in create level question, for the same branching and looping statement, I can ask the question of write a program of the problem with specified efficiency. So here, what the skill I am expecting out of the student is, the student build a solution or pattern from diverse elements. I'm not giving the problem directly. Okay. I'm not giving how the solution of the problem will be. I'm just giving the problem. And I'm giving the condition is that the learner has to write a program in order to bring the solution of the problem with the specified efficiency. The efficiency should not be violated. Okay. So like way I can ask the question in create level. So if your content is completely definite, that is the content is not depending on some other concept, from that content you can ask all the 6 levels of the questions. So that is the thing we have to infer out of this particular. So here I am taking one more example of you in order to demonstrate how all the 6 level questions can be asked in the complete content. Okay, the very familiar example here I am taking is the sorting, and every one of you are aware of what is sorting. Sorting is nothing but arranging the elements in ascending order or the descending order. Okay, there are several sorting algorithms supported in the computer algorithm, and if you belongs to computer science discipline, definitely you are aware of what are the different algorithms available to sort the set of elements. Normally the set of elements are arranged in a array. Okay. So in remember level, what we can ask from the learner is list out the sorting algorithm, because there are several sorting algorithms in order to arrange the elements in ascending or descending. So you can ask the learner from what are the different sorting algorithms are there. Likewise, you can ask. Okay. And in understand, you can ask the learner to compare the algorithm 1 with algorithm 2, or the methodology 1 with methodology 2. Okay, so here I'm asking the question of compare merge sort with the quick sort. So this is the understand level question. The learner has to know how the merge sort is working, how the quick sort is working, so that they can able to compare in what way the both are getting differed. That is called as the understand. They have to produce the answer in their own sentences or in their own idea. Okay. And in apply level, I can ask the question of sort the given numbers using selection sort. They know what is selection sort. They know how the selection sort is working. They know how the selection sort is working is the understand level knowledge. So here that knowledge is applied into a new scenario because I am giving the some set of elements. The new scenario is I am giving. So for this new scenario, they are applying the sorting algorithm so that they bring the solution. Okay. And in analyze level, okay, for the same sorting, they can ask the question like, why insertion sort is best suited for almost sorted array? What do you mean by almost sorted array? If the things are not arranged randomly, if they are almost sorted, in the sense that if you have 10 elements, already 6 to 8 elements are already in a sorted way, that is called as almost sorted array. So the question is why insertion sort is best suited for almost sorted array. Here we are giving the clue to the learner is that insertion sort is best for almost sorted array. But they have to bring the answer why it is. They have to deriving the inference why it is. It is called as the analyze level question. And in evaluate level from sorting, what I can do is I can ask the questions to the students, select the appropriate sorting algorithm to sort the numbers are given. So you just look on the numbers here. The numbers are arranged in a descending pattern. Okay. I'm asking the question to the learner is that select the appropriate sorting algorithm to sort. So what they have to do, okay, they have to bring the solution of the problems in a bottom to top manner. In top, they have to suggest only one algorithm. They have to judge this is the algorithm suitable for this set of elements. So what they have to do, they have to apply the algorithm one by one, okay, for the given numbers, and they find the efficiency, okay, which particular is give most efficiency, that has to be recorded and that has to be suggested. That is the answer expected out of this evaluate. But in create, what the question I can ask to the student is, design sorting algorithm which sorts the elements in the array always in logarithmic complexity, because there are different complexity are there, linear, quadratic, cubic, logarithmic, and exponential. There are different complexity are there. The logarithmic complexity is very important, because why means it takes less amount of time to bring the solution. So the every algorithmic designer expecting their algorithm will bring the result in the logarithmic. So here I'm giving open challenge to the student is that you have to design the sorting algorithm which sorts the elements in array always in logarithmic complexity. They know what is sorting algorithm. They know how different sorting algorithms are working. They know how the different sorting algorithms are working in the different set of the inputs. With the help of all this knowledge, they have to design the new algorithm. With the help of the old idea, they have to design the new algorithm so that that sorting algorithm, irrespective of the input, always they have to bring the logarithmic complexity. So this is the create level question asked in the sorting. Okay. So for the single topic, even the create and evaluate level questions cannot be taken. They can be taken from the course level itself, but with the content, with the complete independence for that content, we can ask the question even in select, evaluate and create. But the thing is that we should not ask the question in a time bounded way. In the sense that we can ask this kind of question in your assignment or in your project. You should not ask the question in your examination for 1.5 hours or 2 hours examination. You should not ask the question like that, because it is a time consuming process in order to bring the solution. So the best possible asking questions in your time bounded examination is you can ask the question in remember level, you can ask the question in understand level, you can even ask the question in apply and analyze. Okay, but evaluate and create level questions, definitely they cannot be asked in the time bounded examination. You may ask the questions in the assignments or the project work. And with respect to the question asked, even we are asking the questions with the help of the Bloom's taxonomy principles, and the way of asking the question may be different. It may be a pure task question or it may be a narrative task question. The pure task question is nothing but a question which is directly address the required answer. Okay, what is the answer we are expecting out of the learner? We can directly ask, but the level may be changed. It may be understand level, it may be analyze level, it may be create level, whatever the level may be. But what answer we are expecting out of the learner, we can ask the question directly. That is called as a pure task question. The narrative task question is nothing but the question that do not directly address the required answer. Okay, so we have to identify what is a question is actually means. We have to understand the thing. We have to transform the narrative question into a simpler way. Then we start the solution of the narrative task question. So that is called as a question do not directly address the required answer. That is a narrative task. I can give the example of this pure task and narrative task question with again the questions from the computer science discipline. Okay, you assume the task is, okay, the first column is giving about what is the task we are expecting out of the learner. In what way the pure question is asked, in what way the narrative question is asked. For example, the task is we want to find the learner about the maximum of list of number. We are providing the learner to the list of numbers. We ask the learner to find what is the maximum out of the list of the learner. Okay, so in what way we can ask the pure question? We can ask the question like, write a method that accepts a list of integers as input and returns a maximum value of the list. Okay, we ask the question to the learner is that write a method or write a program. Or in what way you can have the method is nothing but a function in computer science discipline. Write a method that accepts a list of integer as input, returns a maximum value of the list. So here from the question, we are easily understand what is the input and what is the output. It is clearly mentioned. It is a pure question. Okay, and even it is in a apply level question, because we are giving the scenario to the learner is that to bring the solution. In narrative, what way we can ask the question of the same task is, we can give the narration is that during the sports day, each of the 30 students in 5 classes participated in 2 competitions, the high jump and long jump. Write a program that inputs for each class, each student's 2 results and outputs the best high jump result and best long jump result for each class. Best high jump, best long jump means that it is a maximum value you have to find. So the finding the maximum value is asked indirectly. This is called as a narrative type of the question. Okay, the next kind of task is check whether the given array is sorted or not. Okay, we have to check the given array is sorted, whether the elements in the array is sorted in the ascending or descending. This is the task. Okay, in what way we can ask the pure question is, you can ask the question to the learner is that write a Boolean method that accepts an array as a parameter and returns a Boolean value. Boolean value it may be a true or false. Okay, the learner has to return a true value if the array is already sorted. Otherwise, they have to return a false value. It is a direct question. You are asking the students that you are receiving the array. You have to return the value true if the array is sorted already. Otherwise, you have to return the value false. This is the direct question. In what way the narrative question can be asked for the same task? Again, the teacher wishes to encourage her or his students and so gives them special certificates if their test score improve. Write a method that accepts the list of each student's grade as inputs and determines whether he or she deserves the certificate of recognition. So the array elements, which is nothing but here is student grade. Okay, if the student grade is continuously increasing, then the teacher is deserved for the certificate of recognition. For example, the student number 1 scores 10 marks in test 1, 20 marks in test 2, 50 marks in test 3, and 100 marks in test 4. Then the marks are in a increasing way. If the marks are in increasing way, then definitely the teacher deserves for the certificate of recognition. Okay, so it is an indirect question of how we are checking whether the array is in ascending. Okay, so this is the narrative type question. So whatever the narrative type question or pure question, it is up to you. You can ask a pure question or a narrative type question, but the level has to be clearly demonstrated. The level, again, it may be a remember, it may be understand, it may be apply, analyze, create, or evaluate. What kind of level? That has to be clearly demonstrated. And we are normally looking for writing the different knowledge level question, starting from remember to create in a descriptive question only. But even in multiple choice question also, we can write a question with respect to the Bloom's level. Okay, naturally, the multiple choice questions are more effective in assessing the learner's knowledge of the subject matters. Without descriptive, even in the multiple choice question also, we can assess all the knowledge levels, starting from remember up to the create. We can ask, we can test, or we can assess the knowledge level of the learner. Okay, so what kind of tips we have to follow is, we have to always use the plausible incorrect answers in the questions. Plausible incorrect answer in the sense that reasonable incorrect, because we are giving the choice to the students and we ask the students to select the correct choice. It may be a 4 choices for the single question or 5 choices for the single question. The student has to select one choice out of the 5, which will be a correct one for the question. Okay, so normally while framing the question, the correct choice we are normally doing in a proper way. So the combination of the incorrect choices for the same question, that is the unplausible incorrect answer normally the people are doing. If you are looking for some of the question, the unplausible incorrect answer in the sense which is not related to the question, but they are giving us the choice of the incorrect. For example, what is the capital of the India? This was the question I want to ask to the students. You may give the choice. It may be a New Delhi, it may be Calcutta, it may be Mumbai, it may be Chennai. So this may be, even though the New Delhi is the correct answer, the Chennai, Delhi, Chennai, Calcutta, and Mumbai are the related answer. These are the plausible incorrect answer. They are incorrect, they are plausible. They are related to the correct answer. But I'm giving the choice like, what is the capital of India is the interested question. And I'm giving the choice that New Delhi as the first choice, and second choice is Ganga, and third choice is the metro train, and fourth choice is the STTC. Likewise, if I'm giving the incorrect answer, whether there is any relation between all the incorrect answers to my correct? No. These are called as the unplausible incorrect. We have to always give the plausible incorrect answer so that the student we can test the ability of the remembering ability of these students by applying their knowledge into a problem. So this is the only way, by using the plausible incorrect answers in the multiple choice question, is the only way to gauge if the learner fully understand the concepts or not. This is one of the tip how we are framing the question in multiple choice. So this is test the remembering skill of the student. The next tip is, in order to frame the multiple choice question with respect to the Bloom's level is, we have to integrate charts into the exam. Okay, we can integrate charts into the questions, which include charts or graph in the test, which will force the learner to use their analyzing skills. Okay, we can test the analyzing skills of the students if the chart or the diagram was incorporated in the question. Okay, the student has to interpret the data. Based on the interpretation, they have to answer the question what they have given for. Okay, so even in the multiple choice question, we can test the analyzing skills of the students. How we can test the analyzing skill? By incorporating some of the charts or graph into the question of the student. The next tip is, we have to create examples or stories to test their understanding ability. This is nothing but the comprehension has to be given before asking the multiple choice question. That is the tip here. We have to write out detailed stories or examples that the learner must read before answering the corresponding multiple choice question. This is not only test their understanding ability. Okay, comprehension not only induce how the learner are equipping the understanding ability skills, but they kindle the and analyzing the skills as well. Okay, we can ask the learner to tap into their remembering or applying abilities if you create a story or example that asks them to draw upon knowledge they have already acquired. Suppose the comprehension is given, some knowledge or about the story they have already acquired through some other story, they can be apply the same skill to this comprehension in order to answer the question asked. You are asking the multiple choice question again from the comprehension, but it is increasing the understanding ability, analyzing ability, remembering and applying. Why remembering and applying? Because they can correlate the story from some other comprehension to this comprehension, so that they can equipping remembering and applying abilities in their story. This is also the one of the tip. And the another tip is, we can use multi-level thinking. So while the multi-level thinking was incorporated into a multiple choice question, definitely the student have the ability, or the learner has the ability to equip the judgment skills or understanding of an in-depth subject. Okay, so we have to use the term in the question of most appropriate, the most important. For example, we can have the question like, we can ask the learner about identifying the particular mental illness by first giving them a detailed explanation of the patient who exhibits the set of observed symptoms. Okay, this is like a narrative level question. We have to give what is a mental illness, what are the symptoms of the mental illness, what is a particular case history, the observed symptoms says. Then you ask the question to the learner is that, apply the particular psychological theory to come up with the diagnosis for this observed symptoms. So this is also the inducing the judgment skill. This question is very much suitable for in evaluate level question. So this kind of question you may ask in the multi-level thinking. Okay, so these are the tips. So not only in descriptive level, even in multiple choice question also, we can ask the question with respect to different Bloom's taxonomy.